What's up, y'all? Lawrence and Victor here, and welcome to Just Geeking Out. We're on that Talking Geek. This is where we talk about all the fun stuff that's happened this week, or in this case, in the last week and a half. Just all the geek news and all the fun tidbits, the things that I enjoy. It won't be everything. Hopefully you enjoy it too. But before we get going, hit that notification bell. Make sure you like, subscribe, and go in the comment section. Let me know what you would like to talk about that happened this week in case I missed anything, because I guarantee you I did miss a bunch of stuff. First up, I saw Captain America Brave New World. I did a review of that film. You can go check that out. Let me know your thoughts on that. And I'll tell you my thoughts right now, spoiler free. And if you want more in depth, you can check out the video. I liked it. I would say like a 7 out of 10, you know. I don't get all the hate towards it at all. I don't get the low Rotten Tomatoes score. I felt like it was a pretty solid film. It wasn't the greatest, and it definitely wasn't the worst. I enjoyed the actors. I thought Anthony Mackie, his charisma, his presence felt like a freaking superhero. It felt like Captain America. Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford. He's a beast, and it was pretty great. It does require you, can't talk. It does require you to do some homework though. So I'm not going to give anything away in case you haven't seen it, but it does require you to watch Incredible Hulk, or at least be aware of some of the components in it. And it is much more enjoyable if you've watched Falcon Winter Soldier. I would say watching that series is really important in caring about some of these characters. But I enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I enjoyed it, and it was a nice, for me, part one of whatever this new phase is going to be. Next up in MCU talk, we saw that Thunderbolts TV spot during the Super Bowl. And it felt very much like a Suicide Squad trailer. It has the same exact energy and the same exact spirit. So it's interesting how it's coming out, because we've had 2 Suicide Squad movies. We've had Creature Commandos, which is pretty much Suicide Squad. So Marvel's giving us their version. So a lot of these elements, we've seen it before. The ragtag group of bad guys, superheroes. What's interesting here, though, I'll say, is we've had significant time with all of these characters before this movie. You know, Yelena and what's his name? Red Captain America. Sorry. Played by David Harbour. We saw them in Black Widow and U.S. Agent. We saw him in Falcon Winter Soldier. And, of course, Bucky. We know Bucky. And I forgot the woman's name, but she was in Black Widow as well, right? Was she in Black Widow? Or is she the one? Yes, she's Taskmaster. Right. Sorry. It's all in my head, I promise you. So it's nice that we've kind of gotten acquainted with all these characters as we get into this film. But what's very interesting, and a lot of people are saying this, is you have Sentry in his, bad guy form, taking over New York, turning the people into shadows. Like, this is a world-ending event. And I know there's not an Avengers to be called, but we still have Spider-Man in New York. Hulk, last time I checked, is still on Earth. She-Hulk is still on Earth. Daredevil is in New York. Captain America is here. I'll give you Thor and Captain Marvel. They could be off-world, but you still got Ms. Marvel. You still got Monica Rambeau. So I don't understand how these barely superpowered group is taking on this level of a threat, and the cavalry's not coming. So they got to really explain why the cavalry doesn't come. And I don't want that whole, well, they're probably busy doing other stuff, or, well, it's because it's a Thunderbolts movie. You'll just have to assume. I can do that with Captain America Brave New World. The events in that film, I can see why you wouldn't call the Avengers or Spider-Man or Hulk for that. You'll see. And of course, for movies that are off-world, I get it. But when you have like this world-ending possible threat, dude takes over New York. Yeah, you kind of need a little bit more than those guys. So I hope they explain why they're the only ones that can be called. I really do. Sticking in MCU's, David Bautista said that he will not come back as Drax if offered, unless James Gunn is on board. That's his guy, and the loyalty is strong. He does want to be in a superhero universe for sure. He would love to be in like the DC universe. I think he loves that kind of content, but he doesn't want to do Drax or Guardians film without the godfather of that, which makes sense to me. I've heard in an interview that Dave believes he's too old to play Bane. Oh, he'd be the perfect Bane. Size, presence, but then he has the vulnerability and the acting and the intellect to play that character. He's not just a big brute like we've seen him in things, but he's also not just a brain. It's a combination. It's pretty much he's everything Batman is, just times 10. I think he'd be perfect, and I don't think he's too old. So it looks like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going into Call of Duty, which is interesting because I just can't see them running around with machine guns. How does this work? How does this Nickelodeon brand work in Call of Duty when they're just blowing people up and shoot people? As Michelangelo. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that one. So The Last of Us, the executives believe we're only going to get 4 seasons, which makes sense. If you've played the game, you know the first game is the first season, and they already said the second season is not the second game, so it's probably going to be the in-between. Third season is probably the second game, but the second game is really long. So the second game could be 2 seasons if they want it to be. Yeah, unless they plan on pulling a Game of Thrones and going well beyond the game's content. I haven't heard anything about the potential of The Last of Us 3. So yeah, it feels pretty appropriate to be 4 seasons. And you got, whoever played the game, you know how it ends. So we're not going to get into that. We have a first look at Carl Urban as Johnny freaking Cage in Mortal Kombat 2. I gotta tell you guys, I am not excited about Mortal Kombat 2. Now my interest is starting to peak. I didn't care for the first film at all. It felt like I loved the beginning of it, the origins of Scorpion, and then once we got into it, it kind of just fell flat for me. But this one, we're seeing like Johnny Cage, Carl Urban, who I wouldn't necessarily cast him as Johnny Cage. He feels like a really great Kano. Johnny Cage, in my mind, would be much more of a pretty boy. But I don't care. He's amazing. So yeah, my interest has peaked. Let me know what you think. So the showrunner of Daredevil Born Again went on to say that, you know, their series is way more violent than the Netflix show. And who cares? We don't love Daredevil because it's just violent. We love it because of the story and the character, and really seeing Matt Murdock deal with this dual identity and what it cost him physically, mentally, emotionally. And then we got Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, and we don't love him because he's this violent brute. We love him because he is so multi-layered. You know, how his love and sensitivity towards Vanessa and the ruthlessness of him being a businessman, he's just so layered. Those are the reasons why we love Daredevil, not just because it's violent. So it's like, it's cool that you said it, but I don't care what you say. You have massive shoes to fill. Hopefully you do. You have most of the ingredients in place, at least in front of the camera. So hopefully you do. Let's talk some toys. Yo, we're getting a John Cena You Can't See Me action figure. This bad boy is clear plastic, which is great. Picture is courtesy of IGN. I love this thing. And what's funny is if you go into the comment section, you got people saying there's nothing in the box. Well, why are you showing me something that's not in the box? And there's so many people who don't understand that joke. What are you talking about? It's right there. Obviously, it's right there. It's see-through. Guys, you can't. If you don't get it, you don't get it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. So it looks like Armor Wars is paused. Not indefinitely. They're not saying they're never going to make it, but their focus isn't on it. Which kind of goes to like that massive unveiling that they did for the MCU with all these projects and series that are just continuing to get whittled down and whittled down, which makes sense because it was very ambitious and they lost the plot a little bit in the streaming wars. And I was looking forward to Armor Wars because I would love to see Ironheart as well as, of course, Don Cheadle, Rhodey back as War Machine. But it looks like we're not getting it. And I prefer a tighter, more focused MCU, so cool. Just give us tighter and more focused. Yo, so I've been watching Invincible. I am not fully caught up, so I'm gonna wait to do a review on the whole season 3. But this is peak freaking television, man. And I wasn't excited to see it because I've read the comics, all of them, start to finish. The story actually concluded. But watching it, it brought it all back. Even though I know what's going to happen, it still hits me in the feels. This is up there with like best superhero television. It really is. Season 3 is peak. Episode 2, season 3 is peak. It's amazing. It's amazing. If you're not watching Invincible or season 2 didn't hit you the way you want to hit you, come on back. It's doing the work. It's doing the work. So we got another trailer here, man. We got that Jurassic Park trailer. What is it actually called? Jurassic World Rebirth trailer. And honestly, this is exactly what I think the franchise needs. We started off with it being this sort of realistic, what if you can harvest dinosaurs and take the DNA and make a zoo and they get wild, like simple classic story. And then it went beyond, and then the next ones they escape and blah, 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 blah. But now we're getting into where, like, if you're going to keep making Jurassic Park movies and have them be, I don't know, not meaningful, but worth saying, we got to get into what happens when you start playing with somebody's DNA, right? When you start playing with the species and adding tweaks and creating things and actually turning this into a full-fledged kind of monster movie. I mean, I don't mind it staying classic, but if that's the case, there's no more sequels to be made. We're done. It's like Fast and Furious. They gotta go to space in a car. Because what else are you gonna do at this point? And at this point, I am excited to see a horror film, straight up horror kind of film, Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't know how far they're gonna go into it, but when you started showing me experimental dinosaurs, let's go. I haven't been excited for Jurassic Park since like Jurassic Park 1, so I'm excited for this. I'm very curious. I've also been watching My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I gave a review last time we talked, and it's good, man. It's good. It's not without its problems, and I'm sure a lot of people will roll their eyes around some of the things, but the Tombstone story arc is actually pretty dope, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing so far in the series. And Peter, I just love watching him try to handle his dual identity. And I feel like we didn't get that enough in the Holland films. Like, so much of it was Iron Man Jr., and then by part 2, MJ knows. So he's kind of like always had, his best friend knows, his girlfriend knows, so he doesn't have to balance his identity so much by Spider-Man 2. Aunt May knows. So like everyone knows he's Spider-Man so much in the Holland films by part 2. You kind of miss that Peter Parker having to juggle, which is fun for me. I love that part of superhero. I love when Clark Kent has to come up with lame reasons when everyone thinks Bruce Wayne is just a jerk and is aloof. I like that part. So the series is great to me. I can see why people might not be happy with it, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Let me know your thoughts on it. We got a really cool commercial with David Cornsweet and Shaquille O'Neal. It was a little Superman TV spot, and James Gunn was in it, which is cool. But we get another look at the suit, and it's much darker here. So I feel like they brightened it up. And no, we saw, I guess depends on the way the light hits it, but we get another look at the suit, and people are hating on it. Like, this is a Superman suit, and it might be a little baggier, and you might not like the S design, but it's still very much a Superman suit. Do I like it better than Cavill's suit in Man of Steel? No. To me, that's the best Superman suit ever made, except for how dark it is. But I love this suit. I love what it represents. And we'll talk more about that as more things come out. I finished Cobra Kai is done. Cobra Kai is done. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm an 80s kid. I grew up on Karate Kid. Watched the next Karate Kid. Watched the Jaden Smith Karate Kid with Jackie Chan. I love Karate Kid. You know, as a little kid, it took me a while to watch Rocky, especially Rocky 1 and 2, and understand its meaningfulness. So Karate Kid is for me what like Rocky was for the older for the generation older than me or my dad. I love everything about the Karate Kid and the way it makes me feel in the end of, like, you know, the underdog. It's the classic underdog story, but for teenagers and kids. And to see Cobra Kai it pays homage to Karate Kid, obviously. It plays with nostalgia, it gives you cameos, but more than that, Miguel Diaz goes from this bullied nerd to this certifiable badass. And that all the characters grow into the best versions of themselves, which is in essence everything Mr. Miyagi was trying to teach Daniel's son. Fight, it don't matter. Have honor. And Johnny Lawrence, I'm not going to spoil it here, but it is just really great to see the themes played. There definitely is some jump the shark moments for me. I mean, you saw it in the last part. Is just the kid dies at the tournament, and it's like Karate Kid never went that far into like blood sport. You know, they flirted with it in part 2, but they danced on it. But in this season and this last part of this season, there are elements where it's like, I think that's way too far for what this show is. I'm going to do a review on it. Hopefully it'll come out sometime this week. I'll talk more in depth. Don't want to spoil it. But that's kind of been my week. I picked up this bad boy right here. I don't buy a lot of Marvel Legends, but when I do, it's mostly the movie figures, Wolverine or Spider-Man. And I got this. I don't know much about Spider-Boy, but I love the idea that Spider-Man has a sidekick. So I'll be doing an unboxing of this week. And I'm also gonna throw up this kind of classic video on another channel that I was in with. I did an unboxing of this Mafex Spider-Man right here, and I compared him to a bootleg figure. So I'm gonna throw that on the channel. It's kind of like an unboxing, an alternate reality unboxing from somewhere else. You'll see it, and I can't wait to get these guys together. See how they work. So far, my Mafex Spider-Man stands really well with all of my Marvel Legends Spider family. So can't wait to get these guys together. I'll drop that unboxing with him and the bootleg. Should you get the bootleg, especially since we just heard that new Spider-Man figure. What is that? What is it? The Maximum, their Maximum Series Spider-Man, and it's been revealed that it is going to cost $50. And a lot of people are upset about this. A lot. Some people aren't. They're like, if you don't want it, don't buy it. Others are. They're like they're priced. They're killing us. It's unfair. It comes with a head sculpt. It comes with multiple webs and I think 2 pairs of hands. And they're saying that's not enough for the $50 price point. Now, a regular Marvel Legends figure costs about like 25, 26 bucks. So is it worth the additional, I don't know, 20 something dollars to make it 50? I don't know. Which is why I'm going to throw this review that I did a while ago about the Mayfix Spider-Man, because this, I think I got this for like 80. It might be more right now. Should you get a $50 plus tax plus shipping for some people, Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man? Or should you pay more money for something you know is going to be more premium? Well, we don't know. That Maximum Series might be premium. Like, as much as people are angry, I think Shartimus Prime said this. We don't have it in hand. We don't know. The quality might be like this or better. We don't know. But I wonder if this might be better for you than that one. So I'm going to throw up that unboxing and with the bootleg so you can check it out if you're like, screw it, I want a good Spider-Man and I'd rather just, if I'm going to spend money or to spend money on somewhere I know is going to, be worth it. I don't know. I'll throw that out there for you though. But that's all I got, man. That's all I got. I'm still working out the schedule for Talking Geek. Life's been a bit busy. No complaints. Busy is great. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Keep it geeky. Keep it fun. Enjoy yourselves. I'll be back. Same super time. Same super channel. Peace.